Now, everybody wants to play Division I level football, but today, guys, we're going to be talking about what actually goes into being a D1 football player and some of the common misconceptions about D1 football. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about with Division I level football, you guys, is going to be the schedule. So I think a lot of people think, like just high school football is a lot like college football. Obviously, there's a huge difference because now, like college football, like you're a full-time student athlete. Like when you're in high school, you could get away with a little bit, maybe not having it be like a full-time complete occupation, I guess you could say, but when you get to college, it's a job, right? So the schedule that you're going to be having to follow, like this would just be a normal off-season day for you. Like you have class, so you have like a 6 a.m. lift, like you're not going to be able to sleep in if you're a Division I level football player. It's just not going to happen. 6 a.m. lift, probably like 6 to 7:30. You start classes at 8. Maybe your classes get done at 2. Maybe you have some meetings from like 2:30 to 3:30, and then you're going to be practicing probably from 3:30 to 5:30 again. And then after 5:30 on, you have to get your meals in, and then you have to do your homework. You have to study for certain classes, certain tests, whatever it is. And that's the schedule, guys, generally every day. There's not a ton of free time, and a lot of people don't understand that going in. So when they get to that college football level type environment, they tend to panic. It seems to be overwhelming. Now, again, when I talk a lot about like younger athletes and like how much they should be training and how many things they should be doing to improve their skills, I always mention like, hey, you want to do, 5 gym workouts a week, and then you want to get on the field and do 4 different field days. And people are like, oh, well, like I'm doubling up on workouts. Wouldn't that be too much? It's really not, you guys. That's the schedule that you're going to be having to follow at that Division I level, and honestly, really any college level specifically. Now, let's talk about some things that can help you manage that schedule. Me personally, I always felt it was easy to manage my time if I wrote out a schedule. That's just the way my mind worked. You could do it on your phone, you could do it on your computer, but I would literally, and I still do that to this day, I map out my day by like 15-minute increments. So it's like let's say I'm a little weird, but I get up at 3:45. So 3:45 to 4, I'm doing this. 4 to 4:15, maybe 4 to 4:30, I'm doing this. Like 5 to 6:30, I'm working out. 6:30 to this, I'm doing this. And I map it out and I stay on that schedule. And sometimes I'll map it out the night before. Sometimes I do it that morning. And as you're crossing things off the schedule, that feels good, but like that's an easy way for you to get the things done that you need to get done. So let's say 3:30 to 5:30 is practice, 5:30 to 6, I'm eating meals, 6 to 6:30, I'm doing this, 6:30 to 7:30, I'm studying for this class, so you can stay on track. Because being able to play at the Division I level, you guys, requires great commitment, but also time management skills. Now also, fellas, if you are a quarterback or a wide receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. So if you guys would like to sign up, check out that very first link in the description below. We're going to be coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida. Both of those camps are completely sold out, but then we'll be heading out to Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas. Then we'll be coming out to Las Vegas, Nevada, Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois, Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, local to any one of those cities, we would love to have you out. Check out that very first link in the description below. Also, you guys, all of our camps have limited spots. They will all sell out because we want to spend time actually working with each athlete individually. So again, guys, very first link in that description below. We'd love to see you out there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, you guys, is how the scholarship process works and walking on. So a lot of people in Division I level football, like, the top tier players that you see, the guys that you see on TV, they're all usually on a full scholarship. But some things that people don't know about a Division I scholarship or any scholarship is that it's renewed every single year. So a lot of times people think like, oh, I got this offer in high school, I'm going to go to college, I made it, I got it, I'm set. They stop maybe working hard or caring as much. That offer, like I said, is renewed every single year. So you only have that scholarship for 1 year. So if you are slacking off in class, slacking off in practice, missing practice, you're away from home maybe for a lot of people for the first time when they're playing D1 level football, and maybe they don't have the motivation to go to class because mom and dad's not, dragging them along, etc. So guys start missing, and then that scholarship can be pulled as fast as they gave you one. So you need to understand that it's renewed every single year, and it's a constant grind every single year. Another thing you have to understand about scholarships is that your scholarship could get pulled simply if you're just not getting the job done. know. Remember, fellas, college level football, especially at the Division I level, it's a business, right? So if you're not performing and they recruit a guy or get somebody in the transfer portal to come in and they take your job, they take your job. It's about winning at that level. It's not about having fun. Those coaches are making a ton of money, especially the head coach and the coordinators. And if they lose their job, they can't put food on the table for their families. So they're gonna put the best guys on the field possible. There's no politics, there's no favorites. So every single year, that scholarship needs to be renewed, and that's the mindset that you need to have at any level, okay? Now, another thing I wanna talk about is walking on. I think there's a common misconception about the walk-on process at the Division I level. I get a ton of messages and a ton of comments from athletes, hey coach, I'm a senior in high school, I'm not or like maybe I didn't get any recruiting attention, maybe I didn't start my junior year, I just started my senior year, I wanna go walk on at a D1. Now, it's possible, you've heard the stories, but there are two types of walk-ons. You have a preferred walk-on, and then you also have, you have a preferred walk-on and then just like a regular walk-on. A preferred walk-on is you have an invite to fall camp. So let's say you're in high school and a coach gives you a preferred walk-on opportunity, AKA a PWO. That means that you're invited to fall camp, you're on the team, they're just not paying for everything. A regular walk-on, like just some guy off the street wants to play football, you have a walk-on tryout. At the tryout, there's gonna be a lot of people. It's easy to stand out because if you're generally good at football, you're gonna stand out amongst like the crowds of the like average people, if you will, that haven't played football or haven't played in a while and just wanted to try it. But it's a very tough road. The preferred walk-ons are usually the people that you hear about, like, oh, that walk-on ended up getting a scholarship, that walk-on earned a way into the starting rotation because they're, like, again, they're on the team. If you're a regular walk-on, you just have to make the team. And I personally don't recommend that because it's almost like you're separate from everybody. Everybody's got their meals paid for, everybody's got their books paid for, but as a walk-on, you're footing the bill for everything, you're having to pay for all the food, and so it's a different road. Now, if you want to walk on, great, and think a ton of people should, a ton of people can do it, a ton of people have done it, but I would recommend going a different route. If you want to play at the Division I level, walking on may not be the best opportunity. Go to a junior college, go to a smaller division school and potentially transfer, go to a prep school after high school. There are a lot of different options other than that, scholarship or bust, or D1 or bust. I'm gonna go walk on now because I didn't get that 4-year scholarship. Now, what if, fellas, you're in high school and you don't get a Division I scholarship offer, and that's like your goal as a freshman, you wanted to get a D1 offer, that was just like everything that you worked super hard for. Nowadays, to get a Division I scholarship, guys, it's harder than ever, and the reason why it's so hard is because of how popular the transfer portal is. So now, not only as a high school athlete, and the reason why I talk about this is we're gonna talk about some options that can maybe help you get to that D1 level that isn't involving walking on or getting a full ride scholarship right away. But the reason why it's so competitive is the transfer portal, you guys. You're competing with other high school athletes, junior college athletes like you always were, Division III, Division II, NAIA, other D1 schools, D1 FCS. It's just a wider competition pool. It's like, I think of it like from like a business perspective, right? Like there are so many people that want to be like a personal trainer, like in the gym, like to help people work out. Like how many personal trainers are there? There's a ton. So it's a tough business to like break into. Yeah, you can get a few clients here and there, but it's tough because of how competitive it is. That kind of reminds me of college football recruiting nowadays because it's extremely tough. There's a bigger pool that these schools can recruit from, and some schools might prefer a guy that already has shown that he knows how to be a college level athlete and he's going to transfer to his school. So if you don't get that D1 offer, guys, there are multiple opportunities for you. The first one I want to talk about is junior college. So junior college, commonly known as community college, I'm sure a lot of you have seen like the Last Chance U show on Netflix. That's junior college. That's JUCO. That's essentially 2 years of your, like, so as a college athlete, you have 4 years of eligibility, right? You go to a junior college, you could either be there for 1 year or 2 years, and you would earn an associate's degree if you go for the full 2 years, and that counts as 2 years of your NCAA eligibility. If you redshirt or gray shirt, that's a different story, that's a different video, that's essentially keeping eligibility and has a little bit to do with class load, but that's an option. And when you go to a JUCO, generally colleges recruit from that JUCO and they recruit players who can play now. They want to play, or they're not recruiting you from a junior college to bring you in and develop you for 2 years and then then you run out of time and your clock runs out. They are recruiting you to play early, or to play now, I should say. So a junior college is a great opportunity for you. It's very affordable too. If you're watching this video and you're like, man, I can't afford a 4-year university, I need a scholarship, but I didn't get one, junior college is the way to go because it's cheap. It's like damn near free. I think in California it is free, and you just have to pay for like books or something like that. Like that's a great deal, you guys, and you can go play football and you can get recruited out of there. Now, another option is something called a prep school, and I mentioned that briefly when we were talking about scholarships. That's 1 extra year of like high school, if you will. Very popular option on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast watching this video, I highly recommend looking into those options on the East Coast. But essentially what it is you go 4 years of high school, maybe you didn't get an offer, you got 1 extra year, you go to a prep academy, a prep school, and you will play other prep schools. Popular one is IMG Academy. I know they have a high school team, JV, freshman, but they also have a prep team. That's another option because it's a year for you to develop. I know me personally, that 1 year after high school, because I was always young. Like nowadays you got 19-year-old seniors. I was 17 when I graduated high school. Like that extra year, my first year of college, I developed so much. I got so much bigger, so much faster, so much stronger. So doing that prep year, again, can help you with development purposes, and you could also get recruited out of that. So those would be my 2 options for you. Now, let's say maybe you have a scholarship at a D3, a D2, an NAIA, and that's where you want to go. You could always use that transfer portal process to your benefit because, again, that's the wider pool that D1 schools are recruiting from. So it's not the end of the world. Don't get discouraged, you guys, if you don't get a D1 offer and you're in high school. There are many other options and many other roads that you could take.